right, guys. Can you get? We're good on one part. Are you all good on my side? Not loud enough. Okay. All right, y'all. How are y'all doing? This weekend, I'm going to be cooking something amazing. Hopefully, I'm thinking tikka masala.
Are you gonna cook or your husband
Yeah,
gonna cook?
I'm gonna cook.
Okay.
He might be the chef, but I am the cook at home.
Your husband's a chef?
Uh-huh.
See, that's the difference between a chef
Yeah,
and
he's
a
a chef
cook.
at Bin 77. And he was the chef at Overpass Merchant for a while.
I've never been there. Haven't been there yet.
Yeah. Well, you should. Not maybe Bin now. Overpass. Did you guys get that? Are you guys good? Do you need me to keep talking? Okay. Turned it up. Allison's typing. Come on, Allison. All right, Allison, can you hear me? Not much better. I have it like at 8. All right, we're doing another mic check. I won't say anything more embarrassing about my life or my weekend plans. Unless anybody does want a good recipe for chicken shawarma. I made that last weekend and it was amazing. The spices alone took me 15 minutes to like grind up and get it all right. The trick is to use yogurt. Marinate your chicken in yogurt. Mm-hmm. The yogurt, the proteins break down the
send you out here all by yourself.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Deputy Chief Myron Daniels. I'm the Chief of Staff here for the Baton Rouge Police Department. I thank you for coming out this morning for this call news briefing. Ironically, last Friday, about this exact time, we began planning for and anticipating a press conference for today. The reasons for gathering the media at that time were to speak on what was approximately 42 to 44% reduction in homicides year to date, on top of last year's 20+% decrease. And also to inform citizens of this community of the increased measures leading into the start of the Memorial Day weekend, as well as those efforts that will continue throughout the summer. Though we will cover those same topics with necessary updates, of course, the focus of this press conference is to address the spike or rash of shootings that have occurred over the last 7 days. Today, the order of speakers will be Captain Kevin Hines, the commander of the Violence Crime Unit. He will give updates to cases. Deputy Chief Troy Lawrence will follow and will cover operations and reduction strategies. And Chief Murphy Paul will actually close with remarks. Before I step aside, I do ask that if you have any questions that you please note them and hold them until the question and answer portion. Again, thank you, and I'll like to bring up Captain Hines.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. As the Deputy Chief stated, we did have a rash of shootings that began last week and went through the weekend, and we had 2 more last night. Just want to go over a couple of those real quick. Keeping in mind, all of these shootings are currently still under investigation, so there's not going to be a lot of information that's put out specifically per case. On May 18th at 3135 Highland Road around 10:18 p.m., 3 individuals who appeared to know each other met up at this location. Off camera, there was a shooting that took place where one of the individuals ended up deceased. On May 20th at 4645 Wilmot, there was a shooting that took place between 2 acquaintances who apparently had an argument at this location that turned deadly. One of the individuals was shot and killed during the argument. The other received a non-life-threatening wound at that time. 4069 Tuscarora on May 21st. About 8 o'clock in the morning, an individual was located at a vacant house under the carport, deceased from gunshot wounds. That case is currently under investigation at this time. 12051 Province Place. 2 neighbors got into an argument, and the argument turned deadly. We are currently seeking the suspect in this case, and the victim in that case is deceased. May 22nd, about 11:45 p.m., there was a victim in a vehicle at the location of Gus Young and Acadian when shots were fired, and the victim in the vehicle was struck, and he was deceased. 650 West McKinley on May 22nd, about 45 minutes after midnight. 2 acquaintances were involved in a altercation that turned deadly. One of the individuals was shot and killed. The other received non-threatening gunshot wounds. On May 25th, just yesterday, at around 10:30 p.m., A victim was shot and killed in a residence in the 12,000 block of Robbie. And early this morning, around 30 minutes after midnight, around North Street and 31st, two victims were in a vehicle when they were fired upon, and one of the individuals was shot and killed. And I apologize, the individual in that case is not deceased at this time. He is in critical condition. Of all these shootings that we've had, at least two appear to be drug-related. Three were arguments or fights that led to shootings between persons who were acquainted or related. Three have unknown motives or suspects at this time, and two of these shootings are going to possibly be justifiable, but they are still under investigation. Like I said before, all 8 of these incidents are still currently under investigation, and at this time, that's all the information we're going to be able to put out on them.
Morning. We will still have some of the same strategies that were in place during last year's Operation Red Stick. We will continue to exchange intelligence between state police, EBRSO, probation parole, as well as our federal partners. The utilization of advanced technology throughout our real-time crime center will be significantly increased. For example, we've acquired 4 additional drones, 40 additional crime cameras, as well as 41 additional license plate readers. Between our agency and the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Department, we have approximately 100 license plate readers that will be deployed in specific areas within our community. All of that evidence, data, and intelligence collected from our technology center will help our officers in the field, as well as give our district attorney's office more leverage during court proceedings. More importantly, we've identified some administrative positions that will be reassigned and repurposed to address violence in our city throughout the entire summer. Thank you.
You heard the update on those recent shooting incidents. You know, what stands out when we look at where we were at the beginning of this year, and I think Deputy Chief Myron Daniels talked about that, the reductions that we were seeing, and then what happened this weekend. I know you all follow these incidents closely, and you'll see that what happened this weekend was not the norm as it relates to what we have been experiencing this year. So we know that the strategies that we have in place had been working at the end of last year, and we were building on them, and then this happened. Let me be clear. All of these incidents are under investigation. We know that there were, in most of these, just like most of our cases where we can show a motive, that there was an argument, a disagreement that proceeded. One of the things that I want to focus on is what we can do to prevent these incidents from happening. I want to make you aware that this is Mental Health Awareness Month. When you have incidents of individuals who know each other, who are associated with each other, and those disagreements lead to violent encounters, my message is to the family members, the loved ones, the brother, the sister who know that there's someone in their residence that's experiencing a mental health crisis. We have the Bridge Center for Hope. They're waiting to provide services to you. You can call them. You can drop your loved one off to get the help that he or she needs. That's the Bridge Center for Hope at 3455 Florida Boulevard. You can visit them on the website at brbridge.org. That's 225-256-6604. You heard about the nexus of drugs in some of these incidents that have recently happened. We have resources that are available to you. whenyouareadybr.com. That's whenyouareadybr.com. There are members in that organization who have canvassed more than 300 neighborhoods based on data that we provide. There are service providers who have handed out Narcan to prevent overdoses. They are waiting to hear from you. So please visit whenyouareadybr.com. Right now there is a mother. There's a sister out there who has information that their child or their loved one has been threatened. Someone has communicated a threat to them. We have Truce BR. That's callatrucebr.org or 225-239-7835. We have members of our Baton Rouge Community Street Team. That's 1-877-99-BRCST or info@brcst.org. There are highly trained individuals who are waiting to hear from you. They're waiting to get that call from a mother or from a loved one to say, I need help. I need help. I know that my child is involved in group violence. I know that my child has been threatened. I know that my child has communicated his intent to harm someone. Pick up the phone and call. We have service providers that are waiting for your call. And then there's Crime Stoppers, 225-344-STOP. We know that when we look at these cases and when I'm briefed by my team that there were opportunities for intervention. Yes, I wish you would pick up the phone and call law enforcement and give us that opportunity. But we're saying if you're not comfortable with that, there's a list of service providers that I just provided to you that can help you resolve those matters, that can help you de-escalate that conflict or those differences so that it does not have to lead to a violent encounter. And there's those out there who are listening today who want to get involved in some of the work. www.safehopefulhealthybr.com. Please go to the website. Connect to the work that's being done in this community. Come out and attend the meeting. Learn about the service opportunities. Join the work group where we're trying very hard and we're committed to reducing violence in this city. And we're not going to stop. You can visit www.summerofhopebr.com for upcoming events this summer to participate in roundtables. And let me say this. For there to have that many shootings in such a short period of time, after all of the work that we've been communicating to this community that was being done, I've directed my team, and we're not going to go into the specifics on that, to continue to aggressively pursue that small group of individuals that are violent for crime, that are involved in violent crime in our city. And if you want to know who they are, that person who's sitting at home right now, who know who that person is, or the persons who are involved in some of these incidents. We will continue building our cases, and you will continue to see us. And yes, when we arrest you and they get out of jail, you're going to see us again. And yes, when we arrest you and they let you out of jail again, you're going to continue seeing us. I get sick and tired of hearing from our police officers that we're dealing with the same individuals. And I'm talking about people we arrested for homicides, facts. I'm talking about people we arrested for shootings, facts. And every time there's a shooting, you want to blame these men and women who are wearing this uniform. We are dealing with the symptoms of crime. There has to be more accountability. More than 4,000 felon arrests last year. Now, how many of them you think are still walking the streets? Do a story on that. We gotta stop letting these violent criminals who will continue to terrorize our neighborhoods out on the streets. If we just focus on them, guess what? We can reduce crime another 20%. Because every time a murderer, a shooter gets out of jail, after we done arrested them and build the case, you know what happens? The community began to lose faith in us. What message does that send when we've arrested somebody twice for shootings and they're out there in the community? You don't think that their fear is reasonable? Get involved. And those of you, and yes, those in that person's inner circle, you know who I'm talking about. We will continue. And when I get another call like I got last time for an attorney, that was from me. If they're involved in shootings and they're suspect, I'm directing them to continue to be aggressive toward those individuals until they put their guns down. Get in line and sue me. That concludes this hearing. Thank you. We're not taking any questions.
We have questions.
Whoa. Hey, Clay, you started there. You told me no act no further.
No, you
got all the questions already. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. What's that, bro? Oh, man. He just did no problem.
Yeah, but, there's an assistance and, like, whenever they're,
Goes on. He didn't have a t-shirt like that. He just caught it right there. He got the whole problem. He just caught it right there. That's all it was. I'll text him right now. Amen, bro.
Yeah, I do. Because I have to right away. No, they need to.
DC did his today.
I'm gonna tell him, man, he can't get mine. You need a man out there. You have a lot of work smarter than you.
Surrounding experience.
True that?
And so, and yeah, next time tonight, so, because that's the real thing.
Like, it was very much ready to go, and then it was just like all of a sudden it was sideways.
The one on Will. That was an argument. We done with all of this, and now we're done.
Yeah, that's my question. I already see that I'm long
Somebody,
I know
nobody put no sugar in his black coffee.
Make one